I'm going to show you how to service an air conditioning. This one hasn't been used in at least 5 years. So first you're going to want to disconnect the power, which I've already done. You open this, that pulls out, or maybe you disconnect it from your house inside the panel. Like no matter what air conditioning you're going to have, it's going to have a capacitor in it, and that's most likely going to be bad after 5 years. And if there's something wrong, like if it's not cooling, it's probably the capacitor. That's usually what goes bad. So you want to check the filter, which I think everyone knows how to change the filter, but nobody knows about the capacitor, and I think that's all the air conditioning guys do. This is the panel where it would be. I took out a screw there. I loosened this, and there was another one in here that I loosened a little bit. I'm going to pull this down, and I've already taken it out. The capacitor was sitting right here, so that's where it's at. You take these wires off, but you want to be careful because the capacitor can hold a charge and it can electrocute you, or it can like stop your heart. So wouldn't be a bad idea to discharge it. I'll show you how to do that. To discharge the capacitor, you first want to find the common, which is right here. I wrote a C right there, but if you look down in here, you can't see it, it's rusted. There's a C for common. And then if you can't read that, you might be able to read on this side, it says Herm, it's imprinted in there. And on the other side, it says fan. So you want to short the common to Herm, and then take it off and short it to fan. So I got a little jumper here, attaching it to the common, and I'm going to attach it to Herm. I'll have it there for a few seconds, take it off, and then put it to fan, have it there for a few seconds, and now it's discharged. But before you do that, make sure to clean the corrosion, otherwise you may not get a good connection and it may not discharge. A better way to do it would be to use a resistor, and this will slow down the power, because sometimes when you first put it on there, there can be a spark, and it's not particularly good for the capacitor if you're checking it. If you're throwing it away, it doesn't matter. So we'll put that on there for a few seconds so it discharges a little bit slower. Take it off, and then we'll put it to the fan, hold it there for a few seconds so it discharges, and then it's discharged. You can take it out, discard it, and put your new one in. And then you pull these off, but you want to label where they went. So the yellow ones, you put a little Y there for yellow. The blue ones, you want to mark where the blue one goes, and then when there's a red one, mark where that goes, so you can put the new one in the same way. I'll show you how to test these, but you don't have to test it if you don't have the stuff to test it. You could just replace it, because it's only 15 bucks. Here's the capacitor. I've pulled it out, and this is a brand new one. One way to tell if they're bad is if they're bulging, which this one does not appear to be bulging. These colors here, I marked that just so I'd remember which wires go where. So when I first pulled it out, I was kind of scared because I haven't done this before, and I just seen this, and I was like, uh-oh, I don't know which kind to get. How am I going to know which one to get? But when I pulled it out, on the other side hidden was how many microfarads I need. And this says MFD, which stands for microfarads, and it's 30 and 5 microfarads. So there's a, you can't see it on here, but there's a little C in there, and that stands for, I'm guessing, common. So if you test this to this, that's supposed to be, I think, 30, and then this one to this should be 5. Let's do that. First, if you don't have one of these, you don't have to get one, because you can just get one of these. This is cheaper than one of these. These are 15 bucks. This is, I don't know, 30 bucks. So if you don't have the equipment to test it, just buy a new one. If it's 5 years old, get a new one anyway. I don't understand why you pay an air conditioning guy to come and test if your capacitor is good when you can just replace it for 15 bucks. So I'm going to set it to 200 UF, and UF means microfarads, and it might be confusing because on here it says MFD. MFD stands for microfarads, but it's like the old school way, and now they use UF, which also stands for microfarads. So don't be confused when testing it. And now I'm going to test, so I want it on the C, and I notice I'm guessing they're all like this. The C, which is common, has 4 terminals, and then this one has 3 and this one has 2, and I noticed the new one's like that too, and I was looking at other ones, so I'm guessing that's a common thing. So let's put this negative on the common, and then we'll test. I think this should be 30 microfarads, and we're getting nothing. And then this one should be 5 microfarads, and we're getting nothing. Now let's go to the new one, which I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little C in there. And then this one says fan, and this one says HERM, H-E-R-M. I'm not sure what that stands for because I'm not an air conditioning tech. So let's put this on the C, which I believe stands for common. And we'll put this one on here, so we should get either 30 or 5. Okay, we're getting 30.3 microfarads. And then here we should get 5. And we're getting, wow, exactly 5 microfarads. So this is a really good capacitor. They can vary a little bit, and they can vary. On this one, it says it'll vary by 5%, positive or negative. And that's what this one says too. It says it varies by 5%. So it'd be a good idea to try to find one that varies by the lower the percentage, the more accurate it is. So they have a lot of them that say 6%, and they're a little bit cheaper. But then you take a risk, it might be off. So then it's not the exact capacitance you want, and maybe your air conditioning wouldn't be as efficient or something. I don't know. But, splurge and pay the extra $2 or $5 for the more accurate one. That's what I did. Unless you don't have the money, then get the cheaper one. And that's what I looked. I when I was looking for it, I just looked up. You want it to say, this says 30 microfarads. So this one does too, 30 microfarads, and 5 microfarads, and then 440 VAC. This can be higher. Like say if you had a 500 volts, it's okay to be higher, but you don't want it lower. So you wouldn't want one that just says 400. You want it 440 or more. I'm not sure what this 50/60 hertz means. Maybe someone in the comments would know that. I wouldn't think it matters. The most important thing is that you get the capacitance right, which is 30 and 5, and that the voltage is the same or higher. So this is my new one. I'm going to drop this in, and I hope it just fires right up. I did notice a little bit of corrosion. As you can see, the old one has corrosion on it. So I'm going to look through and try to clean up some corrosion. I've only already took off where the fan is. I've pulled the kind of the cage up, and because there was like a stick in there, I pulled the stick out and vacuumed inside. To clean off inside here, I just removed these 4 screws right there, and then I pulled this open, had my daughter hold it, and I stuck a vacuum in there and vacuumed out inside. And there was a stick which I got out of there. And then the filter's good, so I don't need to change that. And so that's what you need to do, is change the capacitor. A lot of air conditioning guys will scam people, and they'll come in, they know it's going to be the capacitor, and they say, oh, I don't know, you got a really old system, you should probably just replace the whole system, and you're paying $300 probably for them to even come look at it, why not just buy a new capacitor? After I put the capacitor in, I checked for corrosion, and I noticed this. If you look here, the cap's off and the wire's right there, that brown one, and then up there's the white one. Those 2 wires are actually connected when I first seen it, and when I touched it, they popped right apart. This is immediately after I touched it. I took a picture so I'd remember which ones went together. I couldn't even see back there. So I got those. I basically cut those 2 wires to get to the non-corroded part, and I twisted them back together. And then this, let's see, this, you could see right there, I now have the white and brown one together, and then up here, the blue and red one, I took that off. They were corroded, so I cut that and put a new cap on there. And here is everything done. I got the new capacitor in there, as you can see. Not too much corrosion now. You see I put those caps pointed upwards before they were pointed downwards, where they could get rainwater in them. And that's it for this video. I'm hoping it'll work when I turn it on. So hopefully this helps you guys out in servicing your air conditioning, and I'll see you in the next video.